Hello and welcome to another AOR League Racing today in Azerbaijan, Baku. And without further ado, let's get it started. So starting off my flying lap in this main straight here, you're braking at about 100-meter board, braking hard into third gear, and here you're going up into sixth gear, and here braking really hard into second gear. Here you really want to get your car really good. You can see that the car was complaining a little bit, but managed to navigate these corners quite well. I'm still up in my delta, so this is a lap that I'm really happy with. So at the 100-meter board there, you're braking really hard again, and here near the 50-meter board you're braking into second gear, taking in this corner. And here it's a really tricky corner. Here you brake just before the 50-meter board. You want to turn in but not too fast, otherwise you might clip the inside there. And here just going straight now, and you are braking somewhere in between 150, and you want to avoid that curb because that curb can unsettle the car a little bit. Here's the castle section. You're gonna brake just nicely in there. You can see it's really pin of the needle stuff. And here you're just going in second or third gear. Now you're going upwards a little bit, and here a full send. No need to brake there, just a really high speed turn. Here braking just after the curbs there into second gear. Now you're going a little bit downhill, and so you need to be careful because the car can go away from you. Here somewhere in between 150 again, you're braking into third gear and you're going into these corners, and now it's all full send, full throttle, trusting that the car will do its job, the tire will do its job. Here just flicking the car left and right, no need to brake, and keep going into the line. So it's a really long straight coming up to this DRS zone, and you open your DRS, and you basically now you're gonna finish the lap itself. I'm really happy with this lap. It was one of my fastest laps I've done so far. So despite that, I finished in second, but I was really, as I mentioned, very happy with the lap. I was only about 0.1 away from the pole sitter, but still a front row star. So the race strategy would be a soft to medium to soft. I could have gone soft to hard, but I thought of doing a two stopper and a fuel of zero point 0.3 laps worth of extra fuel. So now starting the race in itself. So you have 5 flights and quite a long pause before we eventually go. And here basically I had a really good launch, I would say, relative to the first place here, and I went really aggressive here trying to brake as late as I could. I had a little bit of a bump, the McLaren there, but luckily he didn't have any damage. I didn't have any damage, but you can see there's yellow flags there. There was some other people arging and barging around there. I think the third place guy also had a spin there, and that's why I think he went down the order. So now at the end of lap 4, you would see the McLaren in front of me. He had a little bit of a moment. I think his tires was a little bit cold. He banged the wall there, as you can see, a lot of pieces flying around. Lucky I did not get any puncture because of this, because it's easy to get a puncture from all the debris in the track. But yeah, basically this would call a safety car, as you can see in the screen now. Actually, this is the second safety car already, because there was a safety car in the lap number 1. So this is the second safety car, and I would go into the pits at the end of this lap. End of lap 7, so I'm getting ready to go. You can see the car in front of me, the Ferrari, he's actually disconnected. So it's his AI who's driving it, so it's really hard to judge when to push because it's AI who's driving it. But the good thing is I can just pass him without any problems. But yeah, at the moment I'm in second position, and basically in the lead, in the net race lead. So now mid of lap 11, you can see that there's a virtual safety car. So for those of you who have been counting, this has been 2 safety cars and 1 virtual safety car already. Yeah, a lot of safety cars, and actually there will be a lot more as well, but let's explain that later on. But here the McLaren is really close by me, and you would see now coming up to this castle section, I'm navigating it really slowly because my tires are also slow. And now fast forwarding a little bit and starting lap 12 itself, you can see the McLaren is much more faster at this point in time, and I just decided to let him go because he was much faster than me at this point, and I didn't want to race him too much. And basically he would more or less just run away with this at this point in time. Now in lap 13, my first mistake that I would make here, I just brake a little bit late, and you can see that I kind of misjudged it, and I went and banged the wall, and I had like a really small damage here, wing damage, but this was enough to lose time to first place and actually even lose time to the third place guy. So I was losing a lot of time because of understeer. And last but not least, so in lap number 17 here, so I'm trying to navigate through the castle section. I brake very late, and yeah, poof, and that's it. I banged the wall. So like Charles Leclerc, like how he did it, I think in qualifying, and he called himself stupid. So I'm really stupid at this point in time as well. So going through a little bit of a really slow mo here, you can see that you should brake somewhere between the 150-meter board but I was just too late. I braked like almost in the 50-meter board. Then that's basically it. So just to show the thing again, so you want to brake somewhere around here, and you can see I really brake very late in the 50-meter board. You can see my left is already locked up, and it's one-way street from here. I was really unlucky because I wanted to go as straight as I could so that nothing else would be damaged, but unfortunately that also caused the tire to detach. So that was the end of the race. So what does that do to the standings? I dropped to second position now. You can see the McLaren has got really well. He did really well in these two street circuits in Monaco and Baku, and I did quite poorly with one podium finish and one DNF. And you can see there was only 4 finishers in this race. So even if I drove slowly, I could have basically got fifth if everything went well, or if I banked the wall correctly and not lose a tire, I at least could have finished fifth in worst case and got a little bit of points. But that just shows how racing sometimes is. You can get unlucky in different situations. So next is Paul Ricard. I'm really looking forward to it and hoping that I will do a much better job as it's a more traditional circuit. But let's see how that would go. So race analysis time. So you can see there was a lot of safety cars and virtual safety cars, as I mentioned to you. Of course, there was also more safety cars after the race or after when I went out. But during the race when I was there, so I had about 16 laps there. And you can see my fastest lap came in lap number 9. And other than that, more or less, it was a really up and down curve, which you don't want to see, to be honest. In terms of position, I was really doing quite well. You can see I started in the second. I went all the way to first at one point and went back to second, went back to first, and that was my highest position. But with the mistakes and with the overtakings, I would end up at second position. I would say my overall pace was at least in second, so I could have just stayed in second perhaps, but I was pushing a little bit too hard, I would say, and basically had a DNF because of that. So last but not least, looking at this graph again, just to show what are my points at the moment. So I still have 66 points. I did not add to these points because of the DNF, and I also dropped one position in the driver's standings. So yeah, I need to do much better in Paul Ricard in the next race, but that's for the next race to do. Until then, thank you very much for watching and hope to see you guys in the next video.